Thanks for staying with us. As many of our coastal towns and cities are gearing up for an influx of holidaymakers next month, so too is the Kruger National Park, one of the jewels in South Africa's tourism crown. While they are focused on making sure visitors to the massive game reserve are safe while getting the best out of their safari experience, they also have to keep the animals safe from poachers. To this end, they are deploying a lot of high-tech equipment to monitor movement in the park day and night. To tell us all about it, we're joined by Isaac Phaahla, the spokesperson for the Kruger National Park, who joins us virtually from here in Johannesburg. Isaac, thank you so much for your time, as always, this evening. Now, Kruger National Park is massive. It's the size of a small country. Many people don't realize that. Talk to us about the systems that are now in place to guard the animals and keep poachers out.
Good evening to you, Marcel, and thank you very much for the opportunity. As you rightfully point out, it's a 2 million hectare estate, difficult terrain, and we have to also be mindful that the technology that you deploy sometimes doesn't work in certain areas because of network problems. But over the past few years, what we have done is to put in cameras in very key positions where we know that we're going to get signal, especially in hotspots where we have seen quite a lot of poaching. And that has worked wonders for us because we were able to detect people before they could kill the animals. Access control is also one of the key aspects that we have focused on in the past few months. And what we have installed there are cameras that are very smart. They're able to identify vehicle registration numbers. And that's very important because then we can know whether we're dealing with a stolen car or we're dealing with a legitimate car. And that also has helped us because over several weeks, we have been able to detect people and to do follow-ups. And in some instances, we end up with successful arrests of people. So those are some of the technologies that we have. But technology alone does not help. We know that it has to be successful because there are people that are behind it.
Now, speaking of people, can you bring us up to speed just with regards to where we are with those poaching numbers? We know there have been some success in dealing with rhino poaching. We're hearing more stories than we used to before, in my opinion. But a real problem and threat to all animals is snares and poisoning, isn't it?
Well, the snares and the poisoning has become quite a big concern for us, especially in the north. Because we don't have rhinos in the north, we only have elephants and other species of animals. And what we have observed in the past few months is that people will kill maybe a buffalo through snaring. Then they will lace the carcass with poison in order to attract vultures. Whether they take the vultures to use them elsewhere, we don't know, or whether they're doing that to avoid being detected. Because of the size of the Kruger National Park, the vultures sometimes become our alarm. When we see activity, then we are able to react. And when it comes to snares, at first we thought that it was people who were just snaring for the pot, but we have realized that it is big business and it also has become quite a huge problem. In 3 weeks alone, we have our SANParks honorary rangers, and they have removed close to about 800 snares on one section of the Kruger National Park. It's where we are also focusing some technology to put in some cameras in that area so that we can monitor movement that is happening. But besides that, we have also our fence monitors who are from communities, because this is not a battle for SANParks alone. It also has to involve communities, and community members are the ones who know who the perpetrators are, and we would appreciate them giving us information.
Now, South African authorities have been working very closely with their Mozambican counterparts, and we have seen some of those coaching kingpins being brought to book. Perhaps as an exercise, probably be good to focus on what's actually working, and that seems to be working. Have you been able to put your finger on what is behind that success, and whether you can use that and implement it elsewhere?
I think it was diplomacy. In 2008, we know that poaching wasn't a crime in Mozambique, but in 2017 it changed, and we saw some people being convicted that side. There has been quite a lot of interaction between ourselves and ANAC, And all was done through the Department of Environmental Affairs then, which was led by the late Edna Molewa. She did quite a lot of lobbying, signed MOUs, and those are beginning to pay off. Those kingpins that have been arrested, there's 2 of them that we've heard about them since 2008. And we are very excited that they have been arrested because it means now we have a problem that is out of the way. But obviously, when there's a vacuum, somebody's going to occupy it. And we hope that it will give us a gap to regroup.
Yeah, it does seem that somewhere where you do fill a gap, you only have so many fingers to fill those gaps and then something else opened. It's such a layered, complex issue that you and your teams are faced with every single day. Now, just in closing, let's move a little bit away from the poaching issue and the safety of visitors, of our human capital. Now, recently, of course, the horrific incident involving a German tourist being murdered just a few hundred meters from the park's Numbi gates had made global headlines. But now, of course, obviously this happened just outside the Kruger National Park. Talk to us about who you've been working with within local authorities to try and make sure that all routes into and out of the park are indeed safe.
Yes, it was a terrible incident. It has set us back, Marcel, because we invest quite a lot of money to go overseas to international shows to showcase areas in South Africa. And people don't only come to the Kruger National Park, they make it part of a stopover. They might come from Cape Town into the Kruger National Park or from Durban into the Kruger National Park. Now, we are a very concerned party when it comes to tourism safety. But our jurisdiction, as pertains to law enforcement, only lies within the boundaries of the Kruger National Park. We have engaged with the South African Police Services, and they have assured us that they will increase patrols. There's a particular stretch of road, which is the R538, and that is where people have to be extra vigilant. Last week, we had a meeting with the community, and they have pledged also to assist us. But we need everybody to put their hands together. Private business, because they will lose business if people are going to stop using that route. The hawkers who are on that route also need to come to the party. So we are engaging with people, and we hope that this festive season, there's going to be a safe passage that's going to be created for tourists, but not only this festive season, throughout the year, so that we don't destroy this very important industry that is creating so many jobs.
Indeed, and we can only wish you and your teams everything of the best as you head into what hopefully will be a very busy festive season, and of course encouraging as many local visitors to visit the Kruger National Park. It really is, if only a once in a lifetime experience. If that is all you can manage, it's well worth doing so. Isaac Phaahla is the spokesperson for the Kruger National Park. We thank him for his time this evening.